What's up, guys? This is Eric, Dave, and Seth. We wanted to touch base. Last night was the first presidential debate. And for us, when we were sitting in the office talking about it, we thought it was important enough that we literally got all of our families together, sat in my basement and watched it. And we're kind of going over it. I think we can all agree there's kind of this crossroads. At least it feels like it in our community right now. So just kind of wanted to give our thoughts on it. And we're super curious what your guys' are as well.
Yeah. And to be honest, we thought about making it into a drinking game last night, but I'm glad we did not because nobody would have been able to drive home. That was
we would have been
more
smashed.
of a debacle than a debate.
Yes.
And we all have some thoughts on it, and I'm sure you guys do too. And ours may not align. They may, whatever. That's
and
fine.
we don't care if they align or not. This is an opinion podcast. So
yeah.
There you go.
Well, not only that, dissension is where you really grow and like learn from other people's perspectives.
Right.
So
it should be that way, right? You need to be around people with different opinions, and that's important.
The three of us don't always agree. And honestly, that's kind of what makes us stronger too. So bring on the dissension. Like it's an open forum. I think you have to have those community forums where people can agree to disagree and learn from other people's perspectives. It's important.
Let's jump in.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Send it. And obviously I found myself feeling bad for Joe Biden. I truly felt bad for him, which is weird because I think there's some things that he's done that's diametrically changed our country for the worse. But he looked like an old man that should probably be spending his best years, recalling what he's accomplished in life as opposed to being put up like a puppet. Man, I fell for him. Like he looked lost, and we've all had calls being in public service. He looked like somebody where you'd go to a hospice care center, truly.
Yeah. Or that guy you find, that Silver Alert, and he's like wandering the streets, and you're like, really, honestly. And you're like, hey buddy, I'll get you home. Let's go. That's the look.
Yeah. Gone, dude. Like there just was, and he took a week off to prepare, and that was the product. Man, it was alarming.
I think that was, so I talked about this morning, I think that's what actually scared me the most about the election. So, I'm conservative. I'm voting Republican. It is what it is, but you're looking at two different people that are trying to more so now than ever are representing somewhat of extreme views on either side, right? We've pulled away from the middle. We don't have a bunch of people collectively that want to agree on the majority of issues. It's at a point now where it doesn't matter what one says, the other one will not agree with it. Yep. And, you saw that last night. There was nothing they could agree on. And then they started talking about golf, which was just embarrassing.
Yeah. Mildly entertaining.
It was
slightly hilarious too. Yeah.
It does. I'm not calling it. I'm just saying that there were definitely, Biden was so bad last night, and that there has to be, and I've already heard talks about like, do we replace him? Do we put somebody else in? And honestly, there's enough people out there that are having trouble with Biden that if there is something like a Gavin Newsom, God forbid, ends up stepping into that position, I think that is going to be a huge thing for the Democratic side, because he is very much an extremist and he is well-spoken. Gavin Newsom is a much different person to put on the stage than Biden, for sure.
Yeah. I don't have my tinfoil hat here anywhere, but my suspicion is that the Democratic Party knew exactly what they were doing. They threw a sacrificial lamb out there and that poor old man had to go do that and look terrible. And this is the power play. Now you see the news this morning and they're all talking about, now, not 3 years ago, but now they're talking about, he's clearly in decline. And so clearly they set him up. And I think the play, Gavin Newsom was there last night, apparently somewhere in the building. I think he's been set up, and now they can say, all right, yes, he's in decline, and now Gavin can slide in here and save the day with his slick hair.
And he said some things that I think he's going to lose some voters on for sure. Abortion's always, I've heard literally sometimes people say, like, if you vote with abortion, then you're voting with, that's your idea. Well, and that is, a lot of people do just vote on abortion, but I love the fact that things are going back to the states.
Right.
Yes. All right. Sorry. We had a civil war over this, right? We want less government control. So I don't want the government. I don't care what people think. I don't want as much government control. I want it to be as local as possible. Mm-hmm. So I do like the fact that is in the hands of the states, and what the states decide, they decide. But he did make a comment last night when they were talking about late-term abortion, because he has been in support of that and Roe v. Wade and everything else for a long time. And he said last night, I am not in support of late-term abortion. And I'm willing to bet there's going to be a loss. There's going to be some people that are frustrated with him saying that, for sure.
Could not agree with you more when it comes down to, we are we are supposed to be a country of nation states. We're a republic, right? This isn't the federal government over all of the states. They are supposed to be independent. And at the end of the day, what are states competing for? They're competing for productive citizens that contribute to that particular economy within that state and what their values and beliefs are. So people can actually move within our country. Very different than like EU. It's not as easy to float and jump from those countries. You can pick which one aligns with you best. If you want to see out there where it aligns with or resonates with the most people, I think Idaho's probably the fastest growing in the country, right? It's okay for those states to compete for those good citizens. And if you're talking about Gavin Newsom, there is no state that has more people fleeing that state than California. I would be amazed if he's who they put up.
It would be terrible for the country. And no one,
there's no better
I'm
case
sure
study.
people would argue, but no one can say those policies are working in California. Like you said, good, really good people are fleeing that state. A lot can't. They're just stuck there for whatever reason. But when you look at the big cities in California, they're gone. Like they're gone, and they're not going to recover for generations.
No,
you can't.
And we talk about this all the time because we live in the region that we can see the stark difference between politics. You look at Washington and Jay Inslee and his insanity over there. And we talk about this from over here. You drive across the border and it's a totally different world.
You can feel it when you cross the state line.
We just sat down with a lady. What did she say? I feel uncomfortable and unsafe when I'm in Spokane. She doesn't over here. We are 20 miles apart. Why is it that one place somebody feels unsafe and the other one people don't?
Yeah. Let's jump into Trump a little bit because I think he kind of missed an excellent opportunity last night. He started out pretty good. Yeah. And I was impressed. I'm like, oh, he's keeping his shit together. But he started to lose it. And then, damn it, that man's ego is bigger than the entire world. And if he could just keep it under wraps and shut up, he'd do a lot better. That pissed me off. And I know there's a lot of like diehard Trump supporters out there. I get it. I don't think that's a guy I would associate with on a personal level because, man, you look like a child. You're up there acting like a fool, and nobody can respect that.
Well, people want you to answer the question.
Answer the damn question, man.
Man, where he resonated with me, and I think I said it afterwards last night. I said, guys, I really, really want to like him.
Yep.
I really want to like him. It's tough. Given the options, he is clearly the best option, and he still may be the best for the country. And truly, I think that job is so important and so challenging, and you have to have a little narcissism and ego in order to rise to that level of political power or authority. So I don't necessarily have to like him in order for me to think he'd be an effective president, but all of the stuff with, oh, I'm the best. Everybody says I'm the best. Everybody says it's unbelievable what I've accomplished. Like if it's that awesome, bro, you don't got to say anything about it. And let those people that know what you did for our economy speak for you. What resonated with me with him is when he went off script and he said, trust me, I wish he'd done a great job. I wish he had. I wish he was a great president because then I'd be at I've been to Mar-a-Lago, like pretty unbelievable. I'd be out there playing golf, in his later years. That resonated with me because he's saying, I feel obligated to come back because of what a terrible situation we're in. That was good, but some of the other stuff where you just kept getting baited by some of this stuff.
That's what he needs to realize is that you don't have to make Joe Biden look like an idiot. He is very good at doing that on his own. And I wish that he would just answer those questions. But yeah, there is a fine line. And it's cool to live in the country where you see people, throwing their Trump flags and when they're throwing a name up, they're throwing up their values or whatever else. A lot of it is economic, right? He's an economist. He understands the economy way better and doing deals than Biden can. Nobody can argue that from any point. Okay. But at the same time, he just, I think he just makes these claims that you can't always say this was the best it's ever been. Well, what exactly is it? And then, I was in the gym not too long ago, and this is the cult following that I want to avoid because while I support Trump and what he's trying to do, especially his policies, I heard somebody in the gym the other day, an older guy say, I truly believe that Trump has the entire Bible memorized. And I'm like, okay, come on, man. No. That's leaning opposite of AOC and the squad, right? That's the extremists on that side that believe that Joe Biden is infallible. Trump is not infallible. I think he's the right man for the job, and we're looking at what we have as options by far. But the infallibility, I think, needs to go away. Even a president needs to be put in check on some of those.
Here's my frustration. These, like you just said, but these are our two best options, really? I know 100 dudes that could get up on that stage right now and debate any one of them way better than that. Like, come on.
But we're in an extremist political climate, and it's all like knee-jerk reactions. That's what's so crazy about this. The thought of, and we should give credit to Tomi Lahren. She's been saying this for 2 years, that the Democrats are doing this intentionally so that they can remove him at the last minute with somebody else and replace him. She's been calling it. So if it comes out that way, she nailed it.
Yeah.
But this extremist political climate has created both of these candidates. You can't get any more opposite along the political spectrum. So those are your clear candidates, as opposed to where it used to be, where it's like, hey, we can bring the middle together. We're not as far away as you think. It just becomes about party affiliation.
Do you think if Trump gets elected, he's going to have, I got glimmers of it last night, like maybe he will have some success on certain topics, bringing people together. Maybe if they can get past their extreme like psychosis of hating him.
You think there was an insurrection on January 6th? If Trump gets elected again, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the same thing that happened during George Floyd and everything else. You're going to see people yelling and screaming in the streets, causing issues for everybody.
He brought that up last night. He said that, and I have seen this personally, being a former riot cop. Like, I have seen the Capitol like burn down, and it's happened in a lot of states, and nobody gave a shit. Nobody said anything, and it wasn't Trump supporters doing it.
Right.
It was Antifa and BLM and
organized.
Right. Well organized, and just like. It happened. So the same thing happens on January 6th. And like now it's a big deal.
Yeah. January 6th, we'll get out in the weeds. And what gutted me a little is when Biden's talking about how many of them are jailed and they're equating them to terrorists. There are people that are still in jail that haven't been formally charged.
Right.
What's happening, I think Trump mentioned it. It's a travesty of our justice system. What happened on January 6th. And man, there's a lot more mess that goes into that.
No cop likes to see that, right? We're all in that world, or were, and you see that, and you're like, no, that is the justice system failing.
And I don't even feel bad sitting here saying it. We have a lot of law enforcement following. You guys kind of know what our history is. That Capitol Police shooting of that unarmed Air Force veteran, if that occurred in any other situation anywhere else in the country, imagine if those circumstances had been different.
Right.
That was a dangerous topic for them to bring up, and I'm surprised they did. I'm glad, compared to other debates that I've seen, I don't think he got baited as much as he has previously. He didn't take the personal shots, but gosh, he's just got to let some of that stuff go. I agree with you, Dave. I think half those questions, I'd be like, I concede my 2 minutes. Go ahead, President Biden.
Yeah. Just
you can answer this for me. Yeah, 2 minutes. Go ahead.
He'll sink a ship.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's just mentally incapable.
Well, I mean, and the thing is like, this is the strategy, right? We're not going to rant too much longer. We just have a couple of things we wanted to get out, but here's the strategy. You get somebody like that up there, and you notice that his policies changed. What was it that he signed into effect to close the border recently and saying that he's going to do it, what Republicans wouldn't do? We know it's bullshit, right? You've had 4 years to handle this situation, and you haven't. In fact, states like Texas have turned around and said, we're going to handle our own stuff. And you've been telling them the outlandish claims also on his side to say, oh, the Border Patrol endorses me. And no, they don't. In fact, I can tell you from coming from law enforcement that I don't support damn near any of your policies, and I don't feel supported by you. And I can tell you from knowing people in that job that they don't feel supported by Biden either at all.
Right. And let's note that the Border Patrol union came out on Twitter, X, whatever, right after it and said, we have never and never will support Joe Biden. So it's like, okay, man, like you're just making shit up now. I have been around officers that met Trump, when he was over in California, he came out for a few things. And apparently the guys that met him said like he was extremely supportive and like a great to them.
Genuinely good dude. Yeah. My buddy that came and visited, good friend of mine, I'm known from the Navy. He's a career Navy guy now. Said he met him when they landed and they were escorting him. They kind of do different stuff ceremoniously. There you go. That's the one. But said he was amazing. Recognized him, came and shook their hands. Loved spending time with him. When he talks about like soldiers and law enforcement, that's genuine. He likes spending time with those guys. Yeah. And I've been on those details with other ones. I'm not going to mention, not like that at all. Yeah. Not even remotely close.
I know some guys that work for him as his detail. And like he
treats them like
them zero attention, right? They're a thing to him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That says a lot right there.
Yep.
And that's the probably the guy that they're going to bring up.
The one part of that, and I know I mentioned this earlier, but when he was talking about how he wished this was successful, he even said it. He goes, he said it in a manner of speaking, I'm a felon now because of this. Because I'm willing to come back and do this, I was targeted as a political opponent and charged with multiple felonies. This is what I'm doing in order to come back. That's what a mess this is.
Yeah.
That part, again, I felt like was off script and was more genuine. man, if he sticks to that, doesn't get involved in like childish bickering about who can drive the golf ball the farthest while humorous, man, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Yeah, dude.
That sounds like us at the office.
You see the meme of him driving the golf ball? It's hilarious.
Well, any other thoughts?
No, I mean, we could go on forever, but no.
Yeah.
We'll keep it short.
We'll try and fire everything up here. And
Thank you, guys. Would love to hear any predictions or thoughts. Throw them in the comments, good or bad, whatever. You can tell us whatever you want.
Yeah, who's your VP pick? I'm curious what people are thinking out there as far as his.
I think it's going to be Vivek.
Yeah.
Think so?
Yep.
Rubio?
No, Ramaswamy.
No, Rubio?
No, I haven't seen his name popping up
Yeah,
much.
that dude's he's fun to listen to.
Rubio's a good dude.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let us hear it. We want to know. Later.
Agree, disagree, or otherwise. Send
Bring
it.
it on.